We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
With 10 weeks left in the regular season, the Rangers find themselves in the thick of a wild card pack. Critical games against those in similar situations rest on the horizon. Their first task begins tonight against the Tampa Bay Rays inside the Trop. And welcome to Texas Rangers Baseball presented by AT&T. We come to you from St. Petersburg, Florida tonight, inside the Trop, where the Rangers ready to open a very big series against the Tampa Bay Rays. And welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Dave Raymond. CJ Nikowski will be alongside here shortly. This is a big game for the Rangers. No less than 11 teams either in the playoffs right now or within 5 games of a playoff spot. That makes these games big against the Tampa Bay Rays. You can see the next 13 games against American League opponents, all against teams currently ahead of the Rangers in the wild card standings. And with decision time coming on the horizon here at the end of July, makes these games that much more important. All right, so tonight, the opener of this game, Tampa Bay, one of those teams ahead of the Rangers, and they've been playing some great baseball of late as well.
They certainly have, and they've made a very nice surprise run here. This was not a team that most national guys thought would contend, but here all of a sudden they go now, and they have shown a lot of power throughout this season. You see Evan Longoria there. Steven Souza has showed it as well, but this has been a well-balanced team in the sense that they have very good starting pitching, and that has always been something that they have had here in Tampa Bay. Young, controllable, good starters. These guys have been on display, especially as of late. You see just the +1 run differential, but that has turned into 10 wins for them, and look at them in close games, 5-1 in one-run games. That stat looks a little bit familiar to Ranger fans. They know, of course, this Ranger club was excellent in those spots last year.
You certainly do appreciate when fortune smiles on you in this game, as it did last year for the Rangers. It has not this year for the Rangers. Now tonight, 2 starting pitchers, both of whom are Tommy John survivors, both very critical for their rotations. Yu Darvish and Alex Cobb in the spotlight when we come back. St. Pete Beach. It is warm out there tonight. Will be all weekend, of course. We are inside tonight at the Trop, where it is a comfortable and controlled, air-conditioned environment, ready for baseball, the opening game of this 3-game series. It is time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. We teased that we would be talking about these 2 starting pitchers, Yu Darvish, Alex Cobb, both of whom came back from Tommy John surgery last year. Cobb making 5 starts last season, Darvish 17 established starters and real keys for their teams as we head into that trade deadline.
Oh, absolutely, and a couple of guys that do it a different way as well. Well, check out Yu Darvish first, and Yu Darvish has been really good on the road, but it's been all about that slider all year. We know about it. It has been a fantastic pitch for Yu Darvish, dominating with the strikeouts as he always does. Also that high velocity as well, but it's been some bad breaks for him as far as what has happened for him on the road. You see this start against the Kansas City Royals. He's done a really nice job against them, but the road starts. Check this out, 1.83 ERA, but only 3 runs of support for him over that time. So that's kind of the bad luck that we were talking about. And then you see Alex Cobb here. He has pitched very well in his last 3 at Tropicana Field. And a little bit of a different guy, as I mentioned. Not a high-velocity guy. Relies on that split changeup, which is a very good one. Very crafty right-handed pitcher. He has been comfortable here as of late. So Darvish good on the road. Cobb good at home. These guys will go at it head-to-head here in just a couple of minutes.
We talk about run support with Yu Darvish. Well, it's going to be up to this offense to give it to him. Last night, 7 runs on 9 hits. John Radigan will give a little more about this Rangers offense when we come back. By AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Rangers have some fond memories, some good playoff memories made in this building as we welcome you inside the Trop. John Radigan here. And the most heartbreaking aspect of last night's loss in Baltimore in that finale was the fact that the offense, so anemic so far on this trip, was all but perfect last night. They scored early, they scored late. They scored with the home run, they scored by manufacturing runs, and when you talk to Anthony Iapoce, he says it was almost the perfect performance offensively, except we didn't get the W. Anthony says, though, he doesn't get frustrated or disappointed because he sees how hard these guys are working in the cage to get out of this offensive malaise. He says the challenge is to not change anything. To driving or tying your shoes, you have to do it the same way every time. He says it's the same way with the swing. You can't start changing things just because you're not feeling it at the plate, guys.
I think it's a great point, John, and for these guys, consistency matters, and even though the results will not always be consistent, that's the name of the game in baseball, the process has to be, and I think it's a really good point because we just heard Adrian Beltre say a couple of days ago that he really wants to prove to the front office, and the guys want to prove that this is a team that should be adding and not subtracting as we get closer to the deadline. So that means not panicking, not changing your approach, just going out and doing what you do best, especially when you're dealing with a team with so many bats in that lineup that have a pretty good track record.
Well, speaking of bats in the lineup, let's take a look at our Southwest starting lineup tonight. 45 and 50. The Rangers going with 2 back in the top spot. Mike Napoli has been crushing it. Look at the last 15 games. This is his best month of the year so far. July, and Joey Gallo in there again today at first base, batting 9th.
Yep, and they'll be going up against Alex Cobb, and I've always really enjoyed watching Alex Cobb hit, not just because of that funky leg kick that you just saw right there, but he's very crafty in what he does. Average fastball around 92 miles an hour. He uses it just over half the time, but it is the curveball and the split finger. And even though that split is only about 14% on the usage, it is a very, very good pitch for him. Keeps those hitters off balance, although from a batting average standpoint, the curveball has been the best one. 207. That's what opposing hitters have hit off of the Alex Cobb curveball. And we'll take a quick look at the Rays defense as well. Dickerson, Smith, Peterson in that outfield. Longoria, Echeverria, Beckham, and Morrison in your infield. And Wilson Ramos, just recently activated off the DL, will be behind home plate with Alex Cobb.
Well, we are set to go. Chu stands in. On the first pitch of the game, a little bit high, and we are underway. Chu with a 365 on base average, and you can see as a leadoff hitter getting on nearly 40% of the time, and he takes a strike. It's 1-1.
He's done a nice job. There's been some good flexibility here for Jeff Bannister and what he has done with Chu, whether it means batting him first, batting him second. We saw Delino leading off in last night's game.
This ball hit hard up the middle, but the shortstop, Echeverria, right there. 1 away.
Chu's got to love that. He squares a baseball up, and it looks like it's a base hit up the middle off the bat, but instead it's the shift that got him, and he couldn't have done anything much better than he just did against Alex Cobb.
A little frustration, no doubt, after the first at bat of this one, but always good to see a ball squared up. Now here's Elvis Andrus, and for Elvis, that has been increasingly a rare sight. 2 for his last 33. And he hammers this ball high in the air out to left center. That one carrying back to the wall. It is gone. So just like that, Elvis Andrus answers with his 12th home run of the year, and the Rangers lead 1-0.
How about Elvis Andrus ambushing Alex Cobb on a first pitch? That is the 42nd home run that the Texas Rangers have hit on the first pitch this year. That leads all of Major League Baseball, and Rougned Odor certainly happy to see his double play made up the middle, going deep here on a first pitch fastball that was elevated up over the middle of the plate. And this had to feel really good for Elvis, who's got off to a little bit of a slow start here in July. I say start, we're 3/4 of the way through the month.
This road trip, though, had not been a real kind one to Elvis. That's just his 3rd hit on this roadie, but a big one. And now a curveball in there for a strike to Nomar Mazara. That home run by Andrus, this is kind of interesting, ties him with Nomar Mazara for home runs this year. So it's kind of interesting because Nomar, you figure to be a little bit more of a long ball threat. That has been a big part of the story this year for Andrus, though, and Mazara strikes out. There are 2 away.
Well, after the home run, you see the split finger grip right there, trying to go down and away, but the ball finished down and in instead. But that's that good split finger that Alex Cobb has, and Nomar Mazara swang right over the top of it. But it was a 1-pitch homer and then a 3-pitch strikeout. So Alex Cobb is being efficient so far here today.
With 2 away, here is Adrian Beltre. Cobb starts him off with a breaking ball. Beltre 2 for 4 last night. Drove in a run. That's 5 hits in the last 6 games. Another breaking ball, and that's a strike on the inside corner.
That's certainly going to get a couple of comments from Adrian Beltre. And understandably so. This was a breaking ball that was up and in, and I mean, even if it caught, I don't want to say even caught a little bit of the plate, but it caught that up and in quadrant, it definitely went around the plate.
Beltre will have to protect now and swings and lines this one up the middle. But what a catch by Tim Beckham. Well positioned, but also very athletic, going to his right, and he steals a hit from Adrian Beltre.
Well, there's 3 well-struck balls in this inning, but none bigger than the Elvis Andrus home run. First pitch comes out, hacking, drills one to deep left center field.
Elvis Andrus, a 1-0 beginning, as now the Tampa Bay Rays will go to work. 51 wins and 45 losses. Mallex Smith up at the top of the order. Logan Morrison has been one of the real big stories for this team, though, cleaning it up with 26 home runs and doing a nice job at first.
We'll have his hands full tonight with Yu Darvish, who we had talked about and how good he has been on the road in his last 3. But take a look at the pitch arsenal. 95 miles an hour is the average fastball velocity that you will see. The very good slider that has been so strong for him all year. The cutter and curveball as well. But the slider's been the big one. 184 batting average against that pitch.
Well, Darvish all set and fires a fastball in there for a strike to Smith. That really, I know it's one pitch. That's a good sign, and one we don't see all that often. And another good heater in there for strike 2. We talked a lot about this year. The first batter of the game, sometimes first couple of batters of a game. We'll watch Darvish feeling around a little bit for his fastball command, but those were 2 crisp Swifties. The 0-2. This time the slider misses.
Now, Darvish hasn't pitched here Tropicana Field since 2014, but he's been very good in this ballpark. It doesn't surprise me at all. You go back to basically how he was raised playing professional baseball in Japan, in Hokkaido, and that area he played inside a dome. I got to believe that he loves pitching inside domes, so many of them in Japan.
Gets this one in on the hands of Smith, and the little roller bobbled by Gallo. No play, and Mallex Smith is on for the Rays.
Well, Mallex Smith can run, and anytime you get a guy who puts a slow dribbler and player, any ground ball for that matter, puts a little bit of extra pressure on the defense, and it may appear that Joey Gallo was feeling it right here. See him first time playing first base at this ballpark as the ball kind of jumps up on him a little bit. Higher bounce than he thought. Unfortunately, that one's going to turn into an error and a leadoff base runner. Very quick one, very fast one to Mallex Smith.
So Darvish will have to be, at the very least, cognizant of Smith over there at first. 13 steals this year and 17 tries, and he will occasionally take what have to be described as audacious leads. Not yet. But Darvish will push him back anyway.
Yeah, this will be interesting to watch because Darvish has struggled a little bit in this area. 15 for 17 opposing base stealers. They have been successful. They've been caught just twice. Jonathan Lucroy, though, has thrown the ball pretty well this year. He has thrown out 13.
Smith is running. A swing and a miss, but throw to second. Not in time. Well, that was close. Long look out there by Jerry Lane, our second base umpire, but Smith with his 14th stolen base of the year.
He wasn't going to wait around very long as you see Smith's left hand get in there in plenty of time, and he does hold the bag, and that's the big one these days. As you see Elvis Andrus doing a nice job of keeping the tag on Mallex Smith. But that left foot did not come off the bag. Always amazes me to watch those guys on that transfer. When they first touch with the glove, then the leg is holding the bag, and there's never a time where anything actually comes off the bag.
Well, you mentioned it, Smith with that incredible speed. And so all of a sudden the tying run out there in scoring position of the first inning. Darvish still concerned with his presence.
As much as one more time here, and a good jump by a good runner, and Jonathan Lucroy did everything he possibly could. That was a really nice throw. Darvish is a little bit slow to the plate. That's been part of the issue. Smith keeps that left toe on the bag. It really is amazing.
Well, 0-2 the count to Dickerson. Well, with runners in scoring position, Darvish has been good in a lot of ways. One of those ways, though, is certainly with the strikeout.
He's a great strikeout pitcher, but he turns it up when he gets into these situations. Back against the wall, potential RBIs out there.
And he gets a strikeout of Dickerson. So 1 away in the first. Darvish certainly looks like a man who is ready to establish the fastball tonight.
He's come out throwing the ball well. This is perfect paint on the inside corner. Dickerson unable to get to it. Good life on the heater from Darvish.
So 1 away, and now Evan Longoria. Longoria, the overall numbers, not bad. Lately, though, he's been in a groove. And this is a Rays team that, unlike recent Tampa Bay teams, this is a team that scores some runs. They've got power, and they've relied on it quite a bit. And Darvish, a little confused, will have a word with Lucroy.
So it's either what do you want to throw here, or are we second guessing what we're doing on with a runner on second base? Those pitchers get so paranoid sometimes. You look out there and you feel like, did he just do something? Did that base runner just do something to maybe give away what I'm doing right now, or does he have my signs? And once that gets in your head, you're better off changing them up.
Fastball down low. 97 miles per hour from Darvish. Well, he's come out trying to muscle up with the heat tonight. We got here to the ballpark this afternoon, and every time you'd bump into somebody with the Rays, they would mention Darvish. And what they would mention was the fact that he's never looked, as I said so many times, he's never looked bad against us, man. And he has it. He has dominated this team over the years. And in this ballpark, we talked about some of those numbers earlier, but a lot of success here. Lowest ERA of any pitcher in the game with at least 5 starts against the Rays. And the bouncer, third base. Beltre looks the runner back, takes care of Longoria. 2 away.
Here's what you were talking about as far as Darvish and against Tampa Bay. 1.09. That is pretty dominant. That's why that is ingrained for the guys that have been here in their heads every time they face Darvish. Oh yeah, never seen him pitch bad. You don't put up a 1.09 without having. 2-1-1-3 over their last 4 home losses. 3 in Baltimore, 1 in Kansas City. So runs have been at a premium until last night. Like I said, they put up the 7 in the loss, but the consistent power of Mike Napoli, the threat, the pinch hit home run, first game of this road trip, then the big one on Sunday in Kansas City as well. The home run yesterday to put the Rangers up 5-1 at the time. Not just home runs, but big home runs, important home runs Mike Napoli has been hitting.
Cobb's 2-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Second strikeout of the night for Alex Cobb.
Well, the Rangers will be taking on the Baltimore Orioles on Saturday, July 29th, and the first 15,000 fans will get themselves a Rougned Odor High Five bobblehead, courtesy of Dr. Pepper and Albertsons. It'll be the second in a series of 2 high-fiving bobbleheads. Your tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS.
All right, well, with 1 out, here is Rougned Odor, and as much as Napoli has been the guy who has really come to life in July, see Odor's number, the average now at 215. 17 home runs for him. And his month of July has been pretty good. His best month so far this year anyway, at 264 for the month. And 4 homers. Getting on base at a 316 average. So certainly signs that Napoli and Odor, guys who got off to slow starts, at least in terms of average and on base, might be putting a little something together. Their power numbers, not to be trifled with, they combined for 38 home runs. That part has been there all year.
More distracted by what's going on with Rougned Odor's helmet. Put a little powder on top of those heavy pine tar he usually goes with, but looks like some rosin has made its way to the helmet as well.
A sinking liner out to right field, but Peterson is there. 2 gone. Not an easy play for Peterson.
Well, a very nice play, you know, and it's only been 1 hit, and it's the home run by, you see a 2-seam fastball grip right here, and ball comes right back over the middle of the plate. But only the 1 hit, the home run, but 3 lineouts now. Drew to start off the game. Adrian Beltre smoked a baseball, and so did Rougned Odor. So 4 hard hit balls so far for the Rangers, but only 1 hit.
Lucroy turns away from a breaking ball. Jonathan stepping in at 251 with 4 homers. Rangers got a run in the first inning on the home run by Elvis Andrus. Lucroy stopped himself from going after a pitch called a strike by Mike Estabrook. Estabrook, our plate umpire.
Back-to-back curveballs, interesting, from Alex Cobb here to Jonathan Lucroy.
Cobb has been going a little deeper into games lately, working at the 8th inning and consecutive starts around the All-Star break. Starting to lean on his changeup just a little bit more these days. And just as Darvish has had good numbers against the Rays, Cobb has had good success against the Rangers over the years. It squares it at 2-2. Cobb 1-0 with a 277 earned run average in 4 starts against Texas. Two pitch. And this one hit the other way. Beckham to his left. It's a 1-2-3 second inning. Cobb settles in his second inning of the night. 1-0 Rangers.
The Rangers leading the Rays by a score of 1-0, and it's time for our Quicken Loans Rocket Arms, and there are a pair of Rocket Arms, and looking at starters with at least 500 innings pitched. Yu Darvish, the highest strikeout per 9 rate in all of Major League Baseball. Number 2, yeah, that guy was pretty good. Randy Johnson, 10.6 for his career. Now, much more innings pitched, of course, for Randy Johnson here at the big league level, but Yu Darvish on pace to be one of the greatest we've ever seen.
I got 2 strikeouts in the first inning, and now Rush has one past Brad Miller to start the second. And a breaking ball swung on and missed. It's 0-2.
Makes you wonder, right? When Yu Darvish coming over here from Japan, had he originally started his career in the States, where could he really have finished? The same way we talk about Ichiro Suzuki, and could he have been the all-time hit king if he was a guy who started out his career here in the States? You wonder a little bit. I don't think Yu Darvish necessarily be catching Nolan Ryan. That might be a little bit much, but the highest rate and having way more innings pitched, that'd be pretty cool as you see Yu Darvish doing what he does best, and that is generating swings and misses, and Brad Miller cannot catch up to that 96-mile-an-hour fastball. Good late life on that thing. You should see it jump at the end.
It's all 3 strikeouts so far for Darvish. And he has come out on a mission tonight. Look at Tim Beckham. Beckham breaks his bat on a slow roller left side. Nice play by Adrian Beltre. Sliding to his left on the throw. And there are 2 away.
Well, these kind of ground balls can always throw you off a little bit when the bat is broken. Exactly how fast? Was there any kind of funky spin on it? And this ball obviously not hit hard at all. Adrian Beltre also knowing that he's got to work pretty quickly with Tim Beckham, who's a pretty decent runner. He does exactly that, and a little slide in the end for dramatic effect. And a great play by Adrian.
So 2 away in the second inning, and now Shane Peterson, who takes strike 1.
Darvish has been good. 6 out of the 8 hitters that he has faced so far here tonight, he has thrown a first pitch strike. So you mentioned him feeling good and aggressive. He is also in the strike zone early on.
It's a swing and a miss.
That's a monster swing on a pitch that is up and away. That is 2017 Major League Baseball, where an 8-hole hitter with 2 home runs, 29-year-old rookie, coming out of his shoes against Yu Darvish.
Ooh, fouls that one right underneath us. Count stays 0-2. One of the first things you do when you get to the ballpark is you make absolutely clear what is the risk factor of getting drilled in the booth. And the risk factor here is pretty good.
In our favor of not getting hurt.
No, I think of actually getting hurt. Yeah.
Oh, you think so? Of getting a foul ball.
Yeah.
I got you.
Witness the hole in the wall just behind you.
But that hole's about 5 years old, I'm told. So it's been a minute.
Only takes one, brother. Only takes one. Yeah, there's the hole. That one.
I can't believe the ball actually went in there. That's crazy. It's still back there, they said.
Yeah.
That's not true. I made that part up. Of course not.
That kind of damage right there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care how long it's been. That could be trouble. There's a swing and a miss by Peterson, and the 4th strikeout for Yu Darvish.
Darvish looks locked in. You mentioned it, 4 now through 2 innings. Good life on the fastball. Slider as well. Darvish feeling it.
unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. And Andrew McCutchen has really turned things around since May 24th, hitting .376. That's the second best in Major League Baseball. Alex Wood shooting for the franchise record in Los Angeles. Rube Marquardt set it back in 1916, a 158 earned run average, in Wood just a tick better than that. And Max Scherzer continues to punch out a lot of dudes. More than 10 in 9 of his last 10 starts.
Yeah, yes, he does. He has been pretty unbelievable, no doubt about that.
Man. This is the year of the strikeout, and we have seen some pitchers really taking advantage of that. Scherzer chief among them. As we go to work here in the third inning, Carlos Gomez starts things off, batting 8th tonight. He'll give way to Joey Gallo, and then back to the top of the order for Shin-Soo Choo.
I don't see a lot of Rubes anymore.
Not enough. I mean, I sit next to one pretty much on a daily basis, but
Zinger.
Pitch makes it 1-1 on Gomez. 247 average this year, but the 331 on base percentage for Carlos. To go with some pretty good power, although he was on a nice little tear at the end of June. He slowed down a little bit in that regard.
You know, do that comparison where we're talking about a pitcher from 1916 and Alex Wood is having a great year. I don't know if he can sustain that necessarily, but the league ERA that year was 2.7. The league ERA this year is 4.3. So is it really a fair comparison? Probably not. But that's just kind of the way it goes. The game certainly changes from generation to generation.
Can't believe you're throwing shade on Rube Marquardt, but
I feel pretty good he's not going to hear this.
No bouncer foul by Gomez. 1-2 the count. Yeah, that, to your point though, when you start talking about great performances, especially relative to the league average, that's when you go back and you look at some of the Pedro Martinez years and say, what? Not possible he was that good. 1-2 pitch, and that one ripped, but foul to the left side. So the Rangers with one hit so far off Alex Cobb. That was the Elvis homer in the first inning, which right now is the offense in this game. And this one shanked the other way, foul. And even though the Rangers have just the one hit, they have certainly squared some balls against Cobb in the early portion of this game. So I have to look at, you know, there was the Pedro 174 season in 2000. 97, he had the 190 earned run average. Gonna see what those were versus league average. This one pounded down the third baseline and off our third base umpire Marvin Hudson, and Gomez is on with a hit. He looks over at Hudson as if to say, dude, you cost me a double.
Yes, he did. He absolutely just cost Carlos Gomez a double. Now, first things first, of course, we want to make sure Marvin Hudson is okay. It appears that he is. Split finger here that didn't do as much, hung up in the zone, and Carlos obviously puts a great swing on it, smokes this baseball. That's why I'm a believer in mandatory agility classes for umpires. You gotta be quick.
You've been pounding that drum for a long time.
I have. I think they're finally going to start listening to me. He said, come on, man, I need that double.
First baseman, number 19, Joey Gallo.
Well, he'll take the base hit. And again, back to the important thing, that is that Marvin Hudson's okay. That cannot be fun.
112 miles an hour. That baseball was. Heads up.
So now Joey Gallo, and he's taking a big rip at that one.
And Joey Gallo is our TXU Energy Power player to watch, and here is why. He's now hit a home run in 11 different ballparks this season. That is the third best in Major League Baseball, and
Let's go ahead and make it 12. Why not?
One strike pitch. There's a swing and a miss. Gallo in a hole 0-2. Wait, for once, I did my own research. So Pedro in 1997 had a 190 earned run average. We established that. League average was 460. And in 2000, had a 174 against a league average of over 5 1/4.
Wow. That was in 2000?
Yeah, that was 2000.
2000, the league ERA was 5.25?
Yeah, now, see, now you got me question myself, but there was a lot of math to do at one time there.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even bother adding it up. You can just look it up. It's a lot faster. 525? Did you do both leagues or all Major League Baseball?
No, I just did the American League, and yeah, the American League 528 league average.
I see 491. You said 2000?
Yeah. American League 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? So StatsPass has 491. Where are you looking?
BaseballReference.com.
Let's go to the tiebreaker, Fangraphs. We'll split the difference.
Gomez at first. Gallo waiting on a 1-2. I'm out. I've already done all the research I could possibly do. Near play there. Looked like Chirino's trying to make a play off the bench.
You weren't doing starters, right? You didn't try to split it up that way?
No, just team ERAs. That's Robbie. He's always in the game, even when he's not in the game. Gomez with a small lead, not going anywhere. The 1-2 pitch is outside, 2-2.
So overall, 477 ERA in the big leagues in 2000. In the American League, according to Fangraphs, I said 491 for StatsPass. They said 492. I mean, that is really amazing.
How can that doesn't make any sense?
3 reliable websites have a different number for the league ERA. I mean, that is not. We're not talking about some crazy stat. But yes.
Inside corner, strike 3 called, and Gallo down looking. 1 away in the 3rd inning. Time for us to take a Chevy game break and put our heads together, see if we can figure this thing out. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. Man, I don't know, Dana. I think I'm just about tapped out on the math. As Chu steps in, 0 for 1. Ooh, toss over to first, and Gomez just does get back in there. Nice move by Cobb.
Very nice move as you see Carlos Gomez slide to the outside part of the bag, barely get in there. What you're always taught, that is obviously the farthest part you think about from the pitcher, what a difference that makes. And had he gone to the inside of the bag, he might have been out.
Takes a nice lead again. And Chu watches one upstairs. Chu smoked a ball in the 1st inning. He hit what appeared to be a line drive to straightaway center field. But unfortunately for him, shortstop Danny Echeverria was standing right behind second base and was there to catch it. 1-1 now the count.
And he's there again. Let's take a look at pickoffs. And the most in the American League, Alex Cobb for a righty. Tied for the league. And you see there, Daniel Norris, lefty. Danny Duffy, lefty. Sean Manaea, lefty. Who was the last one there? I missed it. They were all lefties. And Wade Miley.
Ground ball, second base. And the second for 1. The relay to first is in time from Echeverria, and so the inning is done. Cobb getting a little defense takes us to the bottom of the 3rd.
are leading the Rays by a score of 1-0. It is the bottom of the third inning, and it's now time to get to our Kubota Power Stats, which are, of course, brought to you by Kubota. And let's take a look here at Yu Darvish, the 122 opponent average versus the first batter he faces in an inning. So that is not to start off the game, but each inning that he pitches, that's the best in Major League Baseball. So Yu Darvish has done a really nice job keeping that first runner off base. Dave Raymond has not done a very good job when it comes to research. I'd like it to be noted. I went to college for 3 years to play baseball, and you went to Stanford.
Well, I'm not looking to get in any kind of fights, but I saw a lot of birds that weren't ducks in that picture.
Whatever, with geese was. We'll just call it even. You and your 6 ERA and maybe ducks.
Chopper third, and Beltre does everything well and everything right. Makes a nice clean play to take care of Echeverria. One away in the third inning.
We've got some pelicans. What are those ones with the long nose? Cranes, right? Is that what they're called? Or this one with the long nose? What is that?
You got a lot of seagulls down there, right? But an ibis or an what's the egret? Sometimes I will tell you, I don't know.
I'm not sure either, but it looks like a fun group.
Egret. It does.
Listen, I'm really enjoying this game right now, but it's a close second to where I wouldn't mind being at this moment. If they feel the same way.
Bunt popped up foul by Malik Smith. So second time through the order now for the Tampa Bay Rays. Smith, remember, reached on an error in the first inning and then stole second base, but ultimately was left right there. Look at that.
He could fly. I know he's got good speed.
So that's not a good ratio, right? He has 4 bunt hits on 34 bunt attempts.
Are you sure you really want to go down the math trail again?
I'm confident in that one.
Not a great ratio, no. But the attempts are there. I wonder for guys, it's a little bit harder, I got to believe, here on turf. You really have to deaden the ball. You get it even a little bit too firm, and obviously it's going to roll a lot more than it would on grass. And then also, you get those infields, and certain people, grounds crew, they'll tailor their lines based on what kind of team they have. If they know that they have a team that's going to try to bunt, they may just a little slight angle on the base pass where that ball will stay fair.
1-2 pitch, and fastball struck him out swinging. 2 away in the third inning. That's 5 strikeouts for Darvish.
And here it is again. Good live fastball from Yu Darvish, and he climbs the ladder a little bit on Malik Smith. 96 on the 4-seamer. That one stayed nice and true. Alex did not have much of a chance.
Base is empty for Corey Dickerson. Dickerson got a steady diet of fastballs in his first at bat. Almost got away. Struck out of the first. 89 strikeouts this year for Dickerson against 21 walks. Well, that has been a big part of the story for these Rays this year. Not afraid of the strikeouts. They embraced them on their way to a lot of home runs, and this is a pretty good offensive team, much better than they're used to seeing. They're used to trying to scratch out low-scoring games, win it with pitching and defense. Well, this year they can score some runs, and a lot of optimism down there in that dugout right now about the makeup of this ball club and the potential for them not just to make a run even for the division, but maybe built to do something in the postseason. Breaking ball, high chopper, and Darvish gets it but can't get it to first in time. Well, that thing was up there forever.
The height of that bounce was pretty incredible, and Yu Darvish Actually, I thought he was going to have no chance, but I think he would have actually had a chance to get Corey Dickerson. He just had a little bit of an issue getting the ball out of his glove, and he knew he was going to have to hurry because of how long this ball was in the air, and I kind of thought, nah, you just go ahead and put it in your pocket. But had he had a clean exchange, I think Dickerson might have been out. See him getting down the line here and just barely beating this thing out. But not easy. Obviously, for starters and any pitcher for that matter, this is not something you're practicing very often. That nice exchange that Elvis Andrus and Ruben Odor and Adrian Beltre do so well. Not quite as easy for a pitcher, especially using that bigger glove, right? You don't have the nice small infielder's glove.
First pitch to Longoria popped up. Out of the short right field. Odor puts it away, and the inning is over. So we go to the 4th inning tonight, 1-0 Rangers. Tropicana, 1-0 Rangers as we welcome you into the booth. Dave Raymond, C.J. Nikowski, and hey, look who's here. Ken Rosenthal. Ken, thanks so much for joining us. Great to have you here. It was interesting. And folks, take a look now. This is the last you're going to see it. Phone not in your hand for a moment. That was nice of you to put it down for a few seconds.
It was pretty rare of me to do that this time of year. I drive my family crazy. Actually, I drive my family crazy pretty much 365. But this time of year, yeah, especially, I'm looking at the phone all the time.
And no bow tie too either. I mean, this is as relaxed as Ken Rosenthal get, right?
We're going to see the bow tie.
All right, I know, but everyone, we get to take a look at Ken Rosenthal without it. This is casual Ken.
This is casual Ken. Normal Ken.
Normal Ken. Well, that's good. I know you're gearing up for what we all understand to be an historic broadcast tonight. You're aware of what you're getting into.
I am aware of what I'm getting into. It's rare that I'm the stable one in the broadcast.
They had to bring some legitimacy to it.
A pair of left-handers is a great moment in broadcast history, I would say.
Well, it's a moment.
Think about all those great World Series and postseason games you've done. I mean, I got to imagine this is really going to rank right up there. And a lefty with more energy than I have. And there's a lot of lefties with good energy. Obviously, you know, Outlighter, you've worked with him a bunch. He might have the most energy of all of us, despite the fact that he's one of the older ones. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to sit back and just let Brian Anderson go do his thing.
Brian Anderson has a lot of energy. In fact, I'll tell you a little story about Brian. When he was with the Diamondbacks, they were in the restaurant champions at the Marriott in Atlanta during the playoffs. They were playing the Braves that year in the playoffs. Brian Anderson was in a very animated conversation, not just with a teammate or a coach or anything like that. No, with his parents in the middle of the restaurant. But that's him. One of the greats.
You'd think they'd just be like, you know, after all those years, you're going to calm down at some point. Like, when is this going to because they've been dealing with it since birth, right? You know, for any of us that have had rambunctious kids, we know what that's like. They usually grow out of it. There's PA.
Look at him.
He's the best.
Picture of placidity.
He is awesome. So we are getting to that time, and it has started, and you are the best in the business when it comes to this. And Ranger fans got a little worked up, I believe, probably most likely, when they heard the news that John Daniels might be thinking about at least putting some feelers out on if this team, kind of make sure we get this the right way, if this team struggles going to the deadline, that he at least wants to get an idea of what maybe would be available for you, Darvish. Obviously, we don't want you to reveal much or tell us any secrets, but it's been out there.
Well, that's his job.
Yeah.
To gauge interest, and he has to do that constantly with all of his players. And actually, there might even be an ulterior motive for him here, trying to determine which teams would be on Darvish in free agency. So I'm not surprised to hear this. In fact, I'd be surprised if he wasn't listening. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that they're going to trade Darvish. And I would say this. I'd be surprised if they trade Darvish, because you guys know this. CJ, you know this especially, having
Dave
played.
doesn't know much.
That's true. I mean, continue.
When you trade a player in his free agent year and then try to re-sign him, lots of luck.
Yep.
Now, I know it happened with Chapman and the Yankees last year, a little bit of an unusual case. He wanted to be there, and they traded him in a deadline deal, almost knowing that they were going to try to re-sign him. But when that tie is broken, the relationship changes. And my understanding, Rangers' top priority is to sign Darvish. Well, if they want to do that, they probably should not trade him.
Now, we almost saw it a couple of years ago with John Lester, right? That was the one, and you tell me if I'm wrong. I gauged from the outside with zero inside information that he was begging the Red Sox just to get close to the Cubs offer, and he probably would have went back to Boston after getting traded to Oakland, but the deal, there was just too much room between Boston's best offer and the Cubs' best offer. That was the one
And
case.
Boston had lowballed him earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of a different situation. But it can happen, no question about it. And the Rangers have a very unique relationship with Darvish. So you can make the case the other way that if they trade him because of this unique relationship, perhaps they could re-sign him come this offseason. I just don't like their odds as much if that happens.
Let me ask you this, Ken. By the way, Alex Cobb is doing everything right now. Catching line drives, fielding the ball, taking over. He's got it all covered. And we're getting ready for an Adrian Beltre at bat here. But forget Darvish for a moment. How big is this series? How important is this series as you see it from the Rangers' standpoint?
It is important. And actually, I was asked earlier tonight on the Rays broadcast, do the Rangers need to sweep? I would not go that far. That's extreme at this time of year. It's still not August or September. It's July. But they need to start playing better. And that's the problem. You guys see it every day. I have not seen it every day. But they've not played well. Not played to their capability. If they lose 2 of 3 but start showing some signs, good. If they win 2 of 3 showing some signs, better. I don't know that they need to sweep, but they need to show a little bit more than they've shown. The series in Baltimore was pretty ugly.
It was
shocking.
a shocker to see that starting rotation. Those
Shut this
4
team
guys
down.
that we saw had really all come in struggling and all pitch well enough to win. Wade Miley struggled a little bit, but yeah, you're right.
Beltre rolls out to short for a quick 1-2-3 inning. Can you stay with us for another half inning?
Absolutely.
Okay. Ken Rosenthal will be with us when we come back in the bottom of the 4th. ready for the big show tomorrow. Rangers and Rays, 6 o'clock Central Time tomorrow on FS1. Of course, prior to that, Cardinals Cubs, a 3 o'clock Central start, also on Fox Sports 1. You can watch everything on the Fox Sports Go app. Tomorrow's broadcast to be anchored by Brian Anderson. Also involved tangentially will be CJ Nitkowski and Ken Rosenthal, both of whom are in here. I can't draw the big ones, but we'll take what we can get.
Dave, I'll be real tangential. These guys will carry it.
Well, bottom of the 4th inning, we're watching Darvish now in a 1-0 game. And you mentioned it earlier, Ken. You don't see the Rangers every day like we do. Darvish, though, he has to hear the same things that we all read yesterday. And I thought coming out today, there was an extra edge that I saw early on here. When you see guys in the middle of these swirling rumors, what do you make of the effect that it has on guy to guy?
Dave, that's a really good question. And it's different for all players. A younger player might be bothered by it more. I guess a Darvish might be, having not been through it, certainly here, and not even in Japan. But more veteran guys, they have the same stock answer, and they're right. It's like any other outside distraction. They just can control what they control, play well, and do what they can do, and let everything else fall. That's all they can do. But you will see players distracted. I'll give you an example. Quintana. He was not necessarily himself with the White Sox this year at various times. No run support's part of it. The trade rumors constantly grinding on him, part of it. I would say that is one example. Then there are guys like Jay Bruce in New York. Well, he went through it last year. He's going through it again. He's kind of accustomed to it now. It's a little bit of a different beast.
I wonder, too, for Darvish. I remember my experiences over there in Japan. When you would get traded, it was looked at as a bad thing. And no one's looked at the other side of it as, why is someone trying to get rid of you? We're here. We're always like, well, you know, your 5 teams are interested. Well, 5 teams obviously think the world of you, would love to get your hands on you. I think he understands the business here in the States, and it's a little bit different. That was always something that surprised me over there when they said, oh, you know, guy got traded, and he was almost like a little bit ashamed.
And let's face it, too, CJ, with the Japanese pitcher, it is different. He established a comfort zone in Texas coming over from Japan. Let's say he gets traded, I don't know, to Chicago. Well, he'd have to learn that community all over again the way he learned Texas. That's not an easy thing. Now, he can do it. He's a professional, all of that. But that does add a layer, at least from my perspective, from the outside looking at him.
He's looked sharp tonight. 5 strikeouts so far. A walk and infield hit allowed, and that is it against a Rays team that we've talked about early on in this broadcast. They've looked really good this year offensively, and he shut him down nicely. What do you make of the Rays and their situation right now?
They're a really interesting team, and you mentioned their offense, Dave. I can't remember when they've had a good offense. Back to the days, actually, when they had Crawford and Upton and those guys, and Longoria was at the peak of his powers. But this is a different kind of Rays club, and yet they still have the strong starting pitching. The problem has been the bullpen, and they might be leading that division that you're seeing right there if they had a better bullpen. So what they're looking for is exactly that. Bullpen pieces, they've been linked to virtually all of them, the ones that are out there. I expect them to get 1, maybe 2, and that should reinforce them. They've got Boxberger back, they've got Colomé at the end. They just need a little bit more help in the middle.
No, from a prospect standpoint, would they want to go for the controllable guy and maybe give up something bigger, or are they thinking rental?
They've looked at both. I would think a low revenue team like Tampa Bay always prefers the controllable, but they also always prefer to pay the lower prospect price. Well, you can't have it both ways. So I'm not sure which direction they'll go in, but I do feel pretty confident that they'll make one move. They've made a move already with Echeverria. Added about $2.2 million, which for them is no small thing. So I don't know exactly which direction they'll go in, but they've been very active looking, and I expect they'll do something.
Echeverria has been real nice for them too. We started the broadcast today with the fact that 11 teams in the American League are either in a playoff spot or within 5 games of a playoff spot. And that makes it seemingly a lot more interesting, a lot more touch and go for so many of these clubs as we get closer and closer to July 31st.
And that's why you see teams talking about buying and selling, because they're kind of in both places at once. And sometimes you can make a trade that is perceived as a sell, and yet at the same time do something else that is perceived as a buy. Pittsburgh last year, a really good example of this. So what do? They trade Melanson for Felipe Rivera, which turns out to be a great deal, and that was a controversial trade for them at the time. People were like, whoa, you're giving up on the season? You're 3 games out of the wild card? Well, no, they weren't. They were trying to do some things beyond that. They traded for Ivan Nova, who has proven to be a really good pitcher for them. They re-signed him. They made that other deal that was kind of interesting to offload Liriano's salary, and then they used that money in time to get David Freese done, extended. So you can kind of operate on both sides of the street, and the Rangers might be one of these teams that does that because they've been interested in controllable pieces, and they don't really have necessarily a lot to move if you discount Darvish and take him out of the equation. But who knows? They might do something along those lines as well.
One thing that's been sticking out to me a little bit that I feel like we haven't heard a ton about. We always, in general, will talk about what a guy did, especially guys that came off injuries. How many innings they threw a year ago, how many they're throwing now. I haven't heard very many people talking about, unless I'm just not reading enough, which is a possibility, Alex Wood and Lance McCullers Jr. Both of these guys are having huge years. Both of these guys are now over what they threw last year when it comes to innings, which makes you wonder, yeah, the Astros and the Dodgers are looking really good. Those guys are starting to run out of innings. Have there been rumblings from the people that you talk to or whatever it might be going on that that's part of the reason why they may want to add?
Not so on Wood. And when I asked the question of the Dodgers people about him, they said, if you look back 2 or 3 years, he was up to about 180. Last year he was injured, so he has that foundation that some other pitchers don't. McCullers, yes, that's a fair question. And look at that rotation. All right, Keuchel has had injury issues this year. Morton, love him. Great talent, but he always gets hurt. McCullers, there is some innings question with him. So there's a real depth issue there. And yes, they want a Game 3 starter, but they got to get their Game 1 starter healthy and come around a little bit. Now they have. Peacock's emerged, and we've seen Fires pitch much better. But for them, what are they playing for? They're playing for October. And the question becomes, for the Astros, what do you want to give up for the chance to compete in that crapshoot at a higher level? That's a tough question to answer. And I would say that they have to do something, whether it's go get a Zach Britton or a Brad Hand or a Justin Wilson for the bullpen and make it a super bullpen, or get the starter, or both. Because in that clubhouse last year when they did nothing, there was a lot of rumbling and a lot of discord about, hey, we did our part, why don't you do your part, front office? And now you've got Carlos Beltran in there, never won a World Series. You've got other veterans. They need to be active.
This ball hit well out to center field, and it is gone. Brad Miller has just tied this game with his 4th home run of the year. Now, Darvish had been filling up the strike zone, 7 strikeouts to this point, and Miller finally found one he could drive, and we're square at 1.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising to see Brad Miller that power down a little bit. Last year, with the 30 home runs, this is only his 4th. You see a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and pretty much exactly where you, Darvish, wanted it. You don't see that too often. We usually will see Jonathan Lucroy's glove moving in the complete opposite direction somewhere else on the plate, but that was the game plan. He executed it, and so you go ahead and tip your cap to Brad Miller, who did a really nice job. But he's an interesting guy. That power really emerged last year. We started looking at him a little bit differently than we had in the past, where that's good enough glove to play short and give you a little bit of offense. But this year, those home runs have been down.
He did get hurt. That was part of it, of course. But it's really interesting. I was talking with Longoria before the game. Remember when they traded Logan Forsythe? Longoria kind of had a very strong reaction. And I asked him today, I said, okay, how do you feel about this whole thing now? The team's good. He said, well, if you look back at it, because we traded Forsythe, we had to move Brad Miller to second, and what happened? Well, we re-signed Logan Morrison. Logan Morrison's maybe our best player this season.
Well, Chopper second base, and Odor takes care of Tim Beckham. Ken Rosenthal, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, get that phone back out again. You got
all right, man.
We're
See
going
you
to the
tomorrow.
5th inning.
Big day tomorrow.
yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer now during the Ford Summer Sales Event and see why Ford is the best in Texas. That looks pretty cool out there, doesn't it? Hey, we can even bring it inside the Rays tank, just to the right of center field. And in fact, Brad Miller moments ago didn't miss by much, landing in that tank with that home run. Get your hands out of there.
I mean, I know it's fine, but I still don't know if I'd be completely comfortable. You can touch him, right? You pat him on
Yep,
the top.
pat him on the back. I got stung by a Ray years ago when I was a kid. Stepped on one. That was apparently not the way to go. Ooh. Napoli takes one up and in. Man. Alex Cobb puts him on the ground. Ball one to start the 5th inning.
Two-seam fastball, and you watch this thing run up and in and continue to run right under the beard of Mike Napoli, and he's not too thrilled about that.
Took a get even swing right there, and 1-1 is the count. Well, the Rangers scored their run on a homer by Elvis Andrus. That was in the 1st. The Rays got their run on the Brad Miller homer moments ago to tie it. Outside of that, the Rangers have been into a handful of outs tonight where they have absolutely crushed the baseball, but found a glove on the other end. The Rays, meanwhile, haven't made much contact at all against Darvish, but the power of the home run has equalized this thing. Napoli struck out in the 2nd, 0 for 1. And he strikes out in the 5th inning. 1 away. Hey, Friday, July 28th, Orioles will be in town to face the Rangers. You come on out to the ballpark and enjoy a post-game fireworks show set to Texas music. You get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
A lot of time in between that. The 2 Orioles series, of course, they're in the American League East, so the Rangers will play them in a home-and-home series, but not spread out much at all. Payback will be in order after the 4-game sweep.
One away now for Rougned Odor. And the breaking ball misses outside. Rugi. A fly ball to right field in the 2nd inning. Has 4 hits in his last 31 at bats, so he's hit a little rough patch on this road trip. And Cobb evens it up 1-1. Well, the open of the broadcast today, we talked about the upcoming schedule for the Rangers. When you look at their upcoming American League opponents, all those teams, the next 13 games, are against clubs ahead of them in the wild card race. Rangers 5.5 back of the 2nd wild card. So that's the bad news. The good news is a chance to make up ground on all those teams if they take care of their own business.
Yeah, we talk about it so often within the division and how important head-to-head competition is. Well, it gets really important now here for the Rangers as the division seems well in hand right now by the Houston Astros, who are just having a pretty unbelievable season. So the wild card seems like the best chances, best opportunity for the Rangers to get into the postseason. So they will have to beat all those other teams in front of them when they get those opportunities.
Ken Rosenthal made the point I thought was a good point when he was in here last inning, which is it's not that the Rangers have to sweep this series or even take 2 out of 3, but it's that they need to show that they're playing good baseball again and that they are playing more up to their level, because that series in Baltimore was discouraging on a lot of levels. And a bouncer to the right side. Logan Morrison handles it himself. And there are 2 gone in this 5th inning.
I agree. I think you're absolutely right. I think Ken was right. It's a really good point. You want to give your general manager the confidence to believe that, yeah, this team's got a run in them. They are good enough to contend based on what he is seeing on the field. Adrian Beltre has talked about wanting to prove that to the front office as well. So I think you look at all of those things as factors, and Baltimore was, no two ways about it. Wasn't a good series for the Rangers. You get over it, the 4-game sweep. This one becomes important. What happens early next week, I think, becomes important. How this team is playing. This offense is too good, I think, to show what they showed in Baltimore, even though they did score 7 in that last one in a comeback effort. 3 games before that, a couple in Kansas City. And getting that offense to click, it's definitely there. It's been there at times this year, but getting it to click and showing John Daniels that the smart move would be to keep this group together and even add on.
Cobb to the plate, and a bouncer shortstop. Echeverria positioned perfectly, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Alex Cobb. He has retired 8 straight, and we're halfway there tonight. Game summary. First inning, just 2 batters into the game. That's right, Elvis Andrus with his 12th home run of the year, and a good start to this one. Yu Darvish dialed in, 7 strikeouts, working in the 4th, but then Brad Miller almost put that one in the tank. That solo home run tied it up. Both starters with really good starts going so far tonight.
This hits the strikeouts, 11 combined with just 1 walk. Very nice to see from both of these guys pounding the zone, making this a good game. We had talked about Yu Darvish and the run support that he has gotten in his last 3 road starts, even though he has thrown the ball well. It was just 3 total runs. Well, now here through his last 4 road starts, we're looking at just 4 total runs of support.
Swing and a miss. It's 0-2 on Shane Peterson, who we saw take some big cuts his at bat of the 2nd inning. Eventually struck out. Well, he is not up there looking for an opposite field single. Let's put it that way. .260 average. And this one off the hands, blooped back of 2nd. Andrews out there to get it, and 1 away in the 5th inning.
Well, the Rangers and Dr. Pepper are teaming up to bring you savings. Bring a Dr. Pepper can to the box office or use the online coupon code Dr. Pepper to get tickets starting at just $13. Make sure you visit TexasRangers.com/specials and get tickets for the Marlins and Rangers next Monday through Wednesday.
Well, 2 outs here. Pardon me, 1 out, and now Echeverria. And he'll roll 1 third base. Out there with a backhand, has all kinds of time.
You're like a prophet.
Yeah, that's right.
He's 5 seconds ahead of the game.
Yep. Screens on 5-second delay, that's all. Now 2 away into the top of the order.
Alex Smith was part of a pretty funny transaction. We see him every once in a while in Major League Baseball. This past offseason, he was traded to the Seattle Mariners. Say he spent a good 4 to 6 hours as a member of that club before he was traded to the Tampa Bay Rays. One of those turnaround deals where chances are the Mariners already had an idea what they were going to do and already lined something up with the Tampa Bay Rays. But Smith first traded to Seattle. A few hours under their tutelage, and now here he is. You think he has a Mariners jersey with a 0 on it?
Well, I think what you want to look back on is how much did he pick up while he was there.
Yep.
In the organization.
He was saying before the game Scott Service really had an influence on him, and he made that phone call welcome him to the organization.
Oh, hang on, I'm getting another call. Can you hold for a second? Low in the count of 1-1 on Smith. Well, why wouldn't it be a quick turnaround for him? Everything he does is quick. Alex Smith, and we got to see a little bit of that in the first inning when he stole a base on Darvish. 1-1. Fastball at 96 miles per hour, so you're still bringing it in this 5th inning. Pitch count at 63. This is a very big opening game in this series.
2014, Alex Smith stole 88 bases in the minor leagues.
He strikes out here. 8th strikeout of the night for Yu Darvish. And he's perfect in the 5th.
Yu Darvish has certainly got the swing and miss working here tonight in Tampa. Perfectly located fastball, and there it is, strikeout number 9.
It's time for the Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic Drive-In. And our jackpot today, $600 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Rick Washburn at Fort Worth, he's our contestant. Rangers looking to hit a home run for him tonight. That would get him $600. He could also hit a grand slam. That would win him another $25,000. So good luck, Rick. Five innings in the books tonight, and it is a 1-1 game. Carlos Gomez, Joey Gallo, and Shin-Soo Choo. All against Alex Cobb, who since the Andrews home run has faced the minimum. Andrews homered, second at bat of the game. Cobb did give up a hit in the 3rd. That was to Carlos Gomez, but then doubled him off later in the inning. And the curveball fouled away for strike 1. mentioned earlier about Cobb's unique wind-up and delivery. There are times when I think he's going to fall over backward.
It's a pretty unbelievable leg kick. Gets really high, and also that leg gets pretty far out, and then he kind of brings it back in. There's a lot of movement in his delivery. You and I had the conversation about some of the simpler deliveries that we've started to see over the years. David Price is a good example. Mariano years ago. When guys start to get real quiet and real simple. Danny Duffy, we were in Kansas City pitching out of the stretch. This is the opposite of that. This is a high leg kick. Kind of sweeps around. The other thing too is you talk about when you get the leg up as far as going forward. There's a phrase that people use: say, don't open the gate. Like imagine a gate swinging open. You want to kind of keep that knee tucked in, drive toward the plate with your hip. Well, he starts way open and then kind of curves around. It's really strange, but something that works for him. And that's what's so cool about pitching, whether it's grips, delivery, whatever it may be. There are a lot of different ways to get there. And for a pitching coach, I'll ask Jim Hickey tomorrow. A little bit of a nightmare, maybe. I don't say a nightmare, but that's a lot of work to sit there and dissect that and get comfortable with that delivery. There's Jim Hickey, longtime pitching coach here in Tampa. Obviously, he knows that delivery in and out. That's unique.
Just foul off the bat. It's a 3-2 count. Yeah, the thing about that leg kick is, you pointed out, we see guys with high leg kicks. We've seen plenty of big leg kicks over the year. Bronson Arroyo recently comes to mind, but the fact that he starts with the gate so open and then swings it shut, only to then open it up again. The way that thing starts out and swings back away from the plate, it's just such a unique look.
Your first thought would you'd be worried when he gets deep in counts, if you start to get tired with all that. The more movement you have in your delivery, as you get closer to your fatigue point, you just wonder, can a guy repeat that again and again as he's getting tired? That's why pitchers work their legs so hard. It's why they have to stay in some pretty incredible shape, especially the starters, to be able to do that same thing 110 times a night in the game. Get your 7 or 8 warm-ups in between as well. So when it's all said and done, between pregame and in-game warm-ups, you're doing that 150, 160 times.
It's a payoff pitch and a hard ground ball down to third. Longoria right there and throws out Gomez. One out here in the 6th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break before Gallo bats. Let's send it back to Dana Larson.
Number 13, Joey Gallo.
All right, thanks, Dana. Well, here, a 1-1 game. And Joey Gallo struck out looking his first time up, fouls this one off for strike one.
Take a look at this as Joey Gallo limping around there a little bit and walking that one off. The Rangers have crushed it. This is coming into tonight, their last 30 days. They have more home runs than anybody else in the big leagues. I was a little bit surprised. We know they hit the home run, but I was a little bit surprised when I saw that. Runs per game, kind of middle of the pack, doing a pretty decent job. The batting average has been down. 225. You see them 29th overall. We just did that Astros update. The Astros in that time, they're hitting 320 as a team. That is far and away the highest batting average over that time. They've been on a pretty incredible offensive run. 95 points higher than the Rangers, even though the Rangers are leading the league in home runs over that last 30 days.
Those are some really large numbers. 1-1. Fouled off by Gallo for strike two.
We just saw something pretty unique that we don't see every day. I don't know if you caught that or not.
A shift?
Yeah. Where Evan Longoria, there he is, playing the left side of the infield all by himself, and they decide, you know what, I want to see what's over here. You go over there. I'm going to play second base instead as he switches with Echeverria. And that was on a 1-1 count. We see that 2-strike count a lot. We don't see it after 2 pitches. I'm very curious about that. Now it makes more sense to me to do it this way. Have your shortstop on the left side. He's obviously the guy that has the most range in your infield. If you're going to put one infielder on one side of the infield, give me the guy with the most range. I'm curious about that. We might have to ask Kevin Cash about that.
Plays in a slightly different spot than Longoria was prior to that too. So I mean, some of it, I mean, obviously it has to do with the strike count. I wonder if it's like with no strikes, is there somewhere in their mind a fear that he might try and bunt and you would just as soon have your third baseman charge it on that?
Maybe. That's a pretty good theory. I think it's a huge overthink. How many times have we seen Joey Gallo bunt for it? Once this year?
Yeah,
I think we see one, if I'm not mistaken.
I would call that an overthink. Yeah. I'm with you. I like the third baseman over on the opposite side of the bag on these shifts. Set up in on Joey. That one just missed. It's a full count.
You'll see why they have that shift on Joey Gallo. Look at this. 31 of his hits have been to the right side, just 6 to the left side. So it makes a ton of sense to shift him both in the infield and the outfield.
Chopper right back to the mound. And a throw to first. Made for a dicey play for Morrison, but Cobb gets his man, and there are 2 away in the 6th inning. Well, you know, Morrison's a big guy, but Gallo's a big guy too, coming down that line. That would have been an ugly collision.
Probably about 550 pounds between the two of them. You're right. Take my money on the guy that's moving.
No doubt. No doubt. 2 away. Now back to the top of the order. 3rd time through now for the Rangers. Chu, who is 0 for 2 so far today, and a breaking ball in there, strike 1.
There he is. 4 strikeouts, 9 groundouts compared to those 4 flyouts for Alex Cobb tonight. That sounds about right. 47% ground ball rate, slightly above league average for him this year.
Up and strikes, gets ahead here, 0-2. And there's that switch again on the defense. We look at the box score, such that it is so far. Not a lot of activity. Andrews with the home run. Gomez with a base hit. That's it so far. Now a roller up the middle. This one handled by Echeverria. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Alex Cobb. So he has settled in nicely. And now we'll get to see Yu Darvish go back to work in the bottom of the 6th.
We're at the Trop, the famous catwalk, and we're watching a famous pitcher's duel tonight here as Yu Darvish is back on the hill for the Rangers, and here come the Tampa Bay Rays in the bottom of the 6th inning. Darvish, when we asked Manny yesterday what would be the key, he said it is definitely his tempo and his rhythm, and so far tempo and rhythm have definitely been there for Darvish. You see the pitch efficiency is good too. That all helps in every way, including getting him and the defense off the field, keeping everybody engaged. Manny said that's the State Farm winning combination, guys.
This ball hit well to center field and just over the wall. Corey Dickerson with his 18th home run of the year, and he has put the Rays in front for the first time tonight.
Corey Dickerson wasted no time here in the 6th inning and jumps on the very first pitch from Yu Darvish. And we'll take a look here. Jonathan Lucroy set up inside. And that ball was down. Not a bad pitch. Four-seam fastball stayed true. I mean, maybe a little bit more over the plate than they wanted it. But it's twice now where we've seen some pretty well-located pitches by Yu Darvish that have resulted in home runs.
So nobody out, and here is Evan Longoria, who's 0 for 2. Well, Darvish has looked really good tonight. 8 strikeouts through 5 innings. And he has been in the zone, around the zone all night. Real good command of the fastball. And that slider fouled off. It's 1-1.
Getting back to real quick what John was talking about with Yu Darvish, I agree. And there's some times where he can get out of rhythm and things go slow. We saw it a little bit in that first inning, that first at bat that he had against Logan Morrison. There was some back and forth. And it seemed like they were both, I don't know, some gamemanship or exactly what was going on, but it took some time, and then ultimately Yu Darvish ended up walking it. Well, after that, we really haven't seen much of it at all. He's kept a very nice pace, and outside of the 2 solo home runs, he's gotten great results. More importantly, are we going to see John Radigan in the catwalk before this series is over?
He needs to get up there.
He brought it up.
Yep.
He can go all the way to the very top.
Well, I don't see why not. Somebody knows the directions, right? And they can get up there. John's a gamer. I'm expecting to get there at some point. This one line to second base, and Odor is there to haul it in. So Longoria out for the first out of the 6th inning. Oh, just up there. Go fix those speakers, John.
I think one of them's out. Can you check the connection?
Oh boy.
No, thank you. There's the big one up there. Oof. Gives me the EBGBs just thinking about it. Yeah, like the stairs right there that they have to go to each level. No thank you.
All right, 1 out for Logan Morrison. Walked and struck out his first 2 times up. And Darvish gets him to go after strike 1. Talk about all or nothing swingers in the game these days. Guys who are looking for the home run, accepting of the strikeouts, and of course willing to walk. 0-2 the count on Morrison. Morrison right there among the most notable. Joey Gallo, Mike Napoli certainly there. Chris Davis of the Oakland A's. But Morrison has 81 hits this year, 26 of them home runs. So almost a third of his hits have left the yard. 4th in the American League with those 26 homers. And way out in front of strike 3, and that is a 9th strikeout tonight for Darvish. We talk about 3 true outcomes in Major League Baseball these days. Hey, those are the things that can happen that the defense cannot affect. Good defense, bad defense, doesn't matter. And so many teams have started to lean this way. Oakland, Tampa Bay right there, 2nd highest percentage of all the outcomes when they're at the plate are one of those 3, and there are the Rangers, 5th.
2 positive, 1 negative, of course, to walk the home run. You'll take all those that you can get, but if your strikeouts are too high, to put you into the top of that category, well, probably not exactly where you want to be. Logan Morrison has been that tonight. 2 strikeouts and a walk for him. He's one of those 93 players that we mentioned who was set a career high in home runs. We talked about that the other day. Through July 18th, there were 93 players who had set career highs in home runs, 30 more than we saw a year ago. He's won. He only signed a one-year deal, a very reasonable one-year deal for $2.5 million. He's having a career year, and he'll do a little bit better than that in free agency this year.
Wilson Ramos is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts today. Bouncer third base. Good pick by Beltre. Sets his feet, has all kinds of time, and throws out Ramos to end the 6th inning. But a leadoff homer by Corey Dickerson has given the Rays their first lead of the night.
That's the beautiful, nice time-lapse video for you, and that is going to bring us now to our AT&T high-speed replay, and we're going to go back to the first inning. Elvis Andrus gets the first pitch fastball, and he doesn't miss it. Up over the plate, crushed it in left center field. His 12th home run of the season. That is our AT&T high-speed replay.
Well, Elvis will lead off this 7th inning. It'll be Andrus, then Nomar Mazara, and Adrian Beltre. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 error for the Rangers. They have not stranded a runner yet tonight. While the Rays, 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors. They have left 3. This is also the 3rd time through the order for Rangers hitters. See if there's any advantage to be gained here against Alec Cobb. I sort of hesitate on that one, CJ, because they were making such great contact the first time through anyway.
He has been on cruise control and caught a couple of breaks early on with that hard contact, those lineouts that we saw. Jude Beltre, Rougned Odor.
Bouncing ball left side of the infield. Longoria had his glove on it but couldn't quite squeeze it, and Andrus is going to be on. He'll be the first Rangers base runner since the 3rd inning.
11 straight, so good to see the Rangers find a way to break that up as Evan Longoria goes to his left and full extension to try to reach this. Couldn't get to it cleanly at least, and it'll go down as a hit.
So Elvis, now we'll see if they will put him in motion. 20 stolen bases and 27 attempts. One thing to be careful of, we saw it earlier, Alex Cobb with a very good move to first base. Interesting lead there by Andrus. Pizarro lifts one high in the air to left field. Dickerson right on the line, and he'll make the catch. One away here in the 7th, and Adrian Beltre coming up. Hey, our progressive upcoming schedule tomorrow, our game on Fox Sports 1, and you can see that 6 o'clock Central Time. Then A day game here in Tampa Bay to wrap up this long road trip back home. A little National League Baseball. The Marlins in town for 3 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights out of Globe Life Park. Rangers 10-2 in interleague play this year, so that might be a real nice respite. Beltre 0 for 2 and hits this one sharply up the middle. Beckham bobbles it, but steps on the bag, throws to first, and completes a double play. One of those nights, another hard hit ball, but this one turns into 2 outs.
You give Tim Beckham some credit here, because you're right, this ball was hit very hard by Adrian Beltre. It looked like it might have had a chance to eat Beckham up, but he recovers well and turns a double play.
Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, a low-scoring game, 2-1 the count as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Darvish back out there, and yeah, that's, I guess, to that point, Darvish, that's been a big story for him. 4th lowest run support among American League starters.
Yeah, really incredible to see, and sometimes it's just about luck. It really is always about luck. We talked about A.J. Griffin earlier this year, Cole Hamels, 2 guys that are getting an unbelievable amount of run support so far this season, and there's nothing to it. It's never anything personal or anything like that. Just kind of some bad luck for Darvish, so it has not happened for him, and ultimately it ends up affecting his win-loss record. So we've kind of gotten away from using that as an indicator. We start looking at what is the best way to really evaluate starting pitchers, and wins and losses are not that. A.J. Griffin, 9.46 runs when he was active and healthy. Cole Hamels, 8.11.
Brad Miller swings through that one, and it's 1-2. Miller had the home run in the 4th inning. That one tied the game. And then it was the Dickerson home run in the 6th inning that gave Tampa Bay the lead. Darvish been pretty stingy so far tonight. 9 strikeouts. To his credit tonight against 1 walk as well. And a breaking ball bounced foul. We'll reset.
Good pitch count as well for Darvish, as you see him getting set to throw that 80th pitch. That is certainly good to see, as John Radigan talked about earlier. The efficiency and the tempo. 9 pitches, by the way, in that 2nd inning. Those were all strikes.
Swing and a miss, and there's his 10th strikeout tonight. It's Miller for the second time. 10 punch outs for Darvish.
He is cruising along, Darvish, and after the breaking ball, he goes back to the fastball in a really nice combination, 96 miles an hour up in the zone. And Brad Miller, you see that front hip kind of leaking on him and pulling off of that baseball. Didn't have any chance of getting to it.
Fourth time this year that Darvish has gone double digits in strikeouts, and 10 his season high so far. And he gets one in there for a strike to Tim Beckham, who has twice grounded out. Well, the Rays came into the game today 51 wins and 45 losses. 2.5 games back of Boston in the American League East, but also sitting right now with the first wild card in the American League. So they are in control of the wild card division. You can see, though, they have designs on something a little more, which is to overtake the Red Sox, win the division, and avoid that wild card game.
You're absolutely right. And the Rays actually have the kind of pitching where if they could get into a series, they would have a chance, the starting pitching, to maybe potentially advance. And that's why they love the idea. Obviously, wild card, anything can happen in one game, but winning the division, not going to be an easy thing to do by any means. Got some tough teams in there. The Boston Red Sox have a pretty incredible roster, good offense, good starters, good bullpen as well. But they'd have a chance if they could add on. That's going to be the interesting part, if they can find a way to make some kind of move, as Ken Rosenthal was talking about earlier.
Foul ball by Beckham, keeps it 0-2. Let's take a look at the wild card division. Mentioned the Rays with the lead. New York has the second wild card, and they're a game clear of the Minnesota Twins, another team you see their name bandied about right now, and a lot of different rumors. And Kansas City has come back to life.
4 games over 500 right now puts you in the second wild card.
Swing and a miss by Beckham, and that's a season high 11 strikeouts for Darvish. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back again to Dana Larson. All right, thanks, Dana.
They are excited in Chicago. Yohan Moncada, of course, came over in the Chris Sale trade from the Boston Red Sox. One of the top prospects in baseball, just 21 years old, but it goes way deeper than that. They have done an excellent job between Todd Frazier, David Robertson, Adam Eaton, and Chris Sale, all big names that they've traded. They're sitting on a gold mine of young players. Now, they're still prospects, and prospects means that we think you have a pretty good chance to be good, depending on where you're ranked, but doesn't mean anything until you get to the big leagues. Prospects can break your heart as well. It does happen. They are the envy of baseball right now, at least in that regard, as far as what they have in their system and what is coming here pretty soon.
Big swing by Peterson, but a shallow fly ball out to center field, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Darvish. Another quick one for him. We're going to the 8th. Time running short in this one tonight. We are in the 8th inning already. Napoli, Odor, and Lucroy coming for the Rangers. Hey, Saturday, August 12th, we're going to be honoring Pudge Rodriguez. He goes to the Hall of Fame this summer, so come to the ballpark early. Special pregame number retirement ceremony, plus first 15,000 fans get a Pudge Rodriguez Hall of Fame bobblehead, courtesy of Powerade and Walmart. Tickets available at TexasRangers.com/Pudge.
Pretty good class right there. Pudge, a first ballot Hall of Famer. Jeff Bagwell probably should have been, in my opinion, but it took him 7 tries. Nevertheless, he is in. And Tim Raines on his 10th and final opportunity to get into the Hall of Fame. Despite what you may have heard in this broadcast, you can only go 10 times, down from 15.
Next, Napoli. 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts as Cobb bounces that one up there for ball 1. Cobb has faced 1 over the minimum. And that one was Elvis Andrus with the homer. He's given up 2 hits but got 2 double plays. No. He finds a strike zone to even it at 1-1. Brad Boxberger loosening up in that bullpen for the Rays. Even though the pitch count very much in check for Cobb.
I think this has more to do with the score of the game than the pitch count.
Bouncer to the left side. Longoria with a nice play and throws out Napoli 1 away.
Both of these guys are doing a really nice job, but just 83 tonight so far through 7 1/3 for Alex Cobb. He has gone as high as 116. He did that against the Detroit Tigers, but that was a game in which he only lasted 6 2/3 innings. He took a loss. He gave up 8 hits, struck out 3 in that game. This one certainly a lot better than that one. He has gone 7 2/3 in each of his last 2 starts, and he's been up over 100 pitches in each of those as well. So, like I said, I think they have Boxberger up more in case if anybody would get on. Alex Cobb right now would be poised to, I think, take a shot at a complete game.
Well, here is Odor. And he takes a breaking ball for a strike. See, I guess, I mean, I get it, but I don't get it. Like, okay, a guy gets on base. Well, you know, you got whatever percentage chance that somebody out of the bullpen could retire the next important hitter, perhaps. But looking at the evidence today, I've got plenty of confidence that Cobb could get it done.
I agree with you. The Rangers have not had a runner in scoring position tonight. It's been a home run and 2 singles. And that's been pretty much it. The second single by Elvis Andrus in the 7th inning was wiped away with the double play, as was the single in the 3rd inning. And you're near the bottom of the order too. Not that, you know, obviously you're looking at Mike Napoli, Ruben Odor, some pretty good hitters, Jonathan Lucroy and Deck, Carlos Gomez, Joey Gallo. That's pretty big power at the bottom. So it's probably not something that comes into the thoughts of Kevin Cash, the manager of the Rays.
2-2. Rugned flat out to right. Rolled out to first. 0 for 2. There's Cash.
3rd season for him. An easy guy, not that we're rooting for him in this game, but an easy guy to root for. You think about his path and going from being a bullpen coach to a big league manager. That's not something you see very often. He climbed the ranks and studied under Terry Francona, one of the great ones.
High pop up first base side. Morrison asking for it, waiting for it, and he missed it. And Odor has a base hit.
You're giving him a hit on that, huh? You're very generous. This ball,
you're right, that's not a base hit,
was hit so ridiculously high. I started to wonder, this ceiling, this roof here will throw you off a little bit. You're watching and you're like, is that going to hit something? It's sometimes hard to tell. Your depth perception will get thrown off a little bit. It is not easy to see here. That's the other thing. I mean, obviously Logan Morrison was tracking this ball.
Did he touch it? He did get it, right?
Yeah, he did.
E3.
Listen, I'm all for rooting for the boys and getting Ruben Odor a hit.
I thought he whiffed it.
I can't let that slide.
Lucroy 0 for 2.
But I was going to say here, these kind of roofs, and think about the ceiling in the old Metrodome. Never understood why they would make them anything close to white. Make it black, dark gray. I don't know. But anyway, you take your eye off the ball for a second, it is very difficult to find it again. I know there's a reason why they don't do that, but it seems like it would be better, in my opinion. But I don't have experience in those fields, so maybe keep my opinion to myself.
Your opinions are just as valid as anybody else's, but I think the general logic is if it was black or really dark, then you'd really feel like you're playing in a cave, no matter how much light you pump into the place.
Good point.
Not that you're really fooling anybody with it being white.
No, I mean,
was it really cloudy up there today?
This is when you come in here. It's like being in Vegas. You have no idea what time it is. You just have no idea. I'm like, I feel like it's 4 o'clock. So it's actually 3 a.m. You know, I know you've had a couple of those Vegas nights.
I would say it's a far cry from Vegas.
At least from the time feel.
2-0 pitch, and this ball hit up in the air. Maybe somebody will lose it. Dickerson has a beat on it. And they're 2 away in the inning. Well, tomorrow, middle game of this series, we take a look at our AT&T pitching matchup. Andrew Kashner will be in search of his 5th win of the year. And Chris Archer, 7-5 so far this year for Tampa Bay. He'll have the ball for the Rays.
A couple of really good right-handed arms that'll be going head-to-head tomorrow. You see Chris Archer there. He's got great stuff. Me and Brian Anderson were just talking about his breaking ball. It's such a fascinating one. Slider speed, which means it's the harder breaking ball, but it will have curveball break. Very similar to Corey Kluber. We saw him when we played the Indians. He's got a good one, good fastball, great competitor. Andrew Kashner's done a very nice job for the Rangers this year. But take a look at the strikeout leaders in Major League Baseball this season. You see Chris Archer there, 4th overall in the game, 2nd in the American League. Chris Sale and Max Scherzer are going to battle it out this year, I think.
Oh boy. Rangers have always handled Archer pretty well. It might be one of those matchups that, for whatever reason, guys just have a good look at him. But a .530 lifetime earned run average against the Rangers, a 1-2 record. Yeah, there you go. Those numbers favorable for the Rangers tomorrow. 2 out here in the 8th inning. Rangers need to get something going against Alex Cobb. Runner on, and Gomez fouls it off for strike 2.
Yeah, you'd love to see the Rangers kind of cash in after the error by Morrison missing that fly ball. Carlos Gomez, the right man for the job. Taking those big swings. If Alex Cobb could leave him one of those changeups maybe in the zone, or 2-seam fastball comes back over the middle of the plate, that would play very well against Carlos Gomez.
The 1-2. The breaking ball bounced to short. Echeverria will go the short way, and that will end the inning. So the Rangers leave a man as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, getting late here in St. Petersburg.
The Texas Rangers starting to run out of time as they trail 2-1 against the Tampa Bay Rays. And we have a nostalgic giveaway item that is coming up, and it will make you feel like a kid in a toy shop. Saturday, August 19th, the first 15,000 fans will get themselves an Adrian Beltre starting lineup figurine, courtesy of McDonald's. Get your tickets, TexasRangers.com.
There's Adrian, who's always like a kid in a toy shop. Yu Darvish back out to work in this 8th inning, and he runs one tight on Echeverria. It'll be Danny Echeverria, the 9th place hitter, and then back up to the top for Malik Smith and Corey Dickerson. 1-1 the count. Echeverria has grounded out to third base a couple of times. Spoils that one foul. He's been a big pickup for this team. Echeverria, acquired from the Marlins. A trade at the end of June, I guess June 26th. The Rays sent Ethan Clark, pitcher, and then Braxton Lee, a minor league outfielder, to the Marlins for Echeverria, and he has done a fantastic job at shortstop for them. Some people saying that the best defensive shortstop they feel like they've ever seen play here. Darvish, that one gets away from him. 2-2 the count.
It almost looked like he overthrew that slider as he was thinking about the strikeout, and Darvish has got 11 of them already tonight. Take a look at this thing here. There's that slider grip. Look at that thing just take off. A little bit of an overthrow.
Two. And that one off the handle. Weak hopper. Beltre stays with it. That's a tough one. High throw, but Gallo able to bring it down in time quickly to get Echeverria one away.
That's the third time that Echeverria has grounded out to Adrian Beltre. You may want to try somebody else. This wasn't as easy as Adrian Beltre made it look, and a nice job by Joey Gallo to get up and get back down and get on the bag. Take a look. You know, you get jammed like this. We talk about it all the time. We're not exactly sure. This is a short hop. You never know which way it's going to go. Great hands. Beltre. Strong throw. 6 assists for Adrian Beltre here today.
Yeah, he's had a busy evening. One out here in the bottom of the 8th. Malik Smith 0 for 3. Reached on an error. He struck out twice.
That's 17 of the 27 putouts.
Fly ball out to left field. That one carrying toward the wall, and it is gone. A fence scraper for Malik Smith. Just got it over the yellow line. Rays lead it 3-1.
This one is a big surprise. Just a second home run for Malik Smith this season, and only the 5th of his career. Not known for his power. You think about a great ace like Yu Darvish, and watch this fastball middle away. Pretty surprising to see him hit the ball out of the ballpark, and Darvish looked shocked as well.
Corey Dickerson now. Dickerson, he homered in the 6th inning. 2 for 3. He has the one Rays hit today that did not go over the fence. They have 4 hits, 3 of them solo home runs. And he's in a hole, 0-2. The Rangers came in and they've gotten good pitching from Yu Darvish, but have given him no run support. Trails by 2 in the 9th. It'll be the 9th place hitter, Joey Gallo, and then Chu and Andrews. 2-strike pitch. This one off the handle, popped up out on the short right field. Coming in for it was Chu. Odor going out, and Odor couldn't get to it. It looked to me like he thought Chu had it, and Chu, I'm not sure he ever saw it.
This is a really tough play if you're asking Rougned Odor to try to make this thing. Long run for him, and I've talked about how difficult it can be to see a baseball, take your eyes off of it, and then try to pick it up again. And even without this route, this is a tough play for Rougned Odor. As you see Chu coming in, he was just playing deep, but he wasn't going to have a chance to get there. And you're right, the reaction from Rougned Odor made you think that he was expecting Shin-Soo Choo to come get that baseball, and just out of the reach, and as it bounced up, actually hit Odor in the hat. Luckily, that did not catch him in the face.
I'm sure when you're rookie, there's a distance you travel into the outfield where you think, okay, you know, this has clearly got to be an outfielder's play. And Chu, you know, I'm not real sure that he got a good read on it, or that he saw it very clearly, because he was coming in somewhat tentatively. So pinch runner here, Peter Borges takes over at second base for Dickerson. Now Longoria, who is 0 for 3. Well, activity. Alex Claudio gets ready out of the Rangers pen. And there is ball 1 to Longoria. Darvish's pitch count getting up there. Colomé, the Rays closer, had a rough patch recently, but seems last couple outings that maybe he has come out of it. And he is getting ready for a 9th inning with his team up by 2.
I guess we're not going to see Alex Cobb. 96 pitches, and we talked about he had gone as many as 116 this season. It appears he will not get a shot at the complete game.
Bouncer up the middle. Odor this time crosses over to get it. Throws to first in time and just narrowly gets Longoria. 2 away.
This one ended up being probably a little bit closer than Rougned Odor anticipated, as you see a good stretch there from Joey Gallo, but Rougned Odor gave a little bit of a look at Peter Borges to see if there was maybe any chance that he had a play at third, and he did not. Adrian Beltre was even kind of pointing to Rougned after that play and just kind of let him know and say, hey, he's looking over and saying, I thought maybe you had a chance, and kind of discussing it a little bit. And during that conversation, Adrian Beltre was kind of pointing over to first base, just kind of saying, hey, make sure you know your runner. You got the right guy. Don't wait too long. That one ended up being closer, I think, than they expected.
So at 2 out, Rays have Borges at third base for Logan Morrison, who is 0 for 2 with the walk. See Borges down there with Charlie Montoyo, their third base coach. And a swing and a miss. Darvish still bringing that good heat, 96 miles per hour, with his 100th offering of the night.
Darvish has really filled up the strike zone. 77% strikes for him tonight. It's 13% higher than what he's done over the course of the season. He has been 64% strikes on the year. Not tonight.
There we go. Yes, he did. 12th strikeout of the night for you, Darvish. Well, he put in a good night's work, but we go to the 9th inning, and he needs some run support.
It's only part of the story, but yes, it is.
We're looking forward to that one on Fox Sports 1. Look at complete games in Major League Baseball. There have been 38 of them so far. On pace for less than 70. And, I mean, far and away the fewest in Major League history, I believe. And tonight we might get 2.
Hard to think. Now, hopefully that's not the case. We'll take 1.
I don't think Darvish has more in it.
Never mind, that was dumb. That's not going to work out that way. He would have 1 more inning. I don't think they'd let him go back out since they had out Claudio up. So obviously we do not want to see Alex Cobb finish this game. We'll see Joey Gallo and the rest of the Rangers get to him this inning, and it's a good start right there.
Yeah, base hit out to the wall in right field, and Gallo will make it to second base easily with a leadoff double in the 9th. So there you go. Rangers have a man in scoring position for the first time tonight.
Well, here is a curveball from Alex Cobb, and it stayed on the outside part of the plate, and Joey Gallo did a nice job of going out there and getting it and crushing this ball in the right center field gap as it skips to the wall off that turf. And exactly what the Rangers needed with that leadoff double.
So Cobb, for the first time tonight, will stand atop that rubber with a man to his right. Well, that's Joey Gallo. Good speed out there at second base. Potential tying run now at the plate in the form of Shin-Soo Choo. And Choo shoots this one out to left field. Dickerson is back. That one's gone! A laser into the seats by Shin-Soo Choo. And he has just tied this game in the 9th.
We'll make it now 43 first pitch home runs here for the Rangers this year, and I'm not sure any was bigger than that two-run home run by Choo. We were talking about Alex Cobb and the opportunity to go for the complete game, and he gets himself a 3-1 lead into the 9th, and 3 pitches later, this game is tied.
Wow. Now that escalated quickly. I mean, that really happened fast. So Choo with a 2-run homer. It's a 3-3 game. Cobb is done. And the Rangers are into the Rays' pen in the 9th.
And the Rangers suddenly tied this game up. Home run number 14 off the bat of Shin-Soo Choo.
Alex Colome has come on here for Alex Cobb. Interesting. I mean, he was getting hot and ready. Their closer, but obviously not a safe spot. trying to keep it a tie game.
Let's go back to the home run here by Chu. There is a split finger that did not much of anything as it stayed up in the zone, did not have any depth to it at all. And what a great approach by Chu to take that ball the other way. And Andrew Cashner, tomorrow night starter, pretty happy about it.
High pop-up toward short. Echeverria puts it away, one away. So now Nomar Mazara.
Number 30, Nomar Mazara.
Well, Nomar 0 for 3. There's Alex Cobb. That's a tough night right there. Pitches into the 9th inning. Allows 3 earned runs on 5 hits. Struck out 4.
I mean, I think you and I were both on the same page as far as giving Alex Cobb an opportunity to go out for the 9th inning. And he had 96 pitches through 8. 3 pitches later, he's done. 4th time through the lineup for him. 4th at bat for Chu. I guess certainly there's an argument to be made against that, but he looked pretty locked in today. I'm going to leave Kevin Cash right now. Second guessing his decision. You think, okay, I want to give my guy, give him an opportunity. Feel like he's earned it. And you don't want to just take him out after one hitter either. I mean, that's the one thing. A leadoff hit, you're not going to take him out. If that's the case, then you shouldn't send him out there at all. If you go in thinking that, then you should not send that player out there at all, that pitcher. So, okay, leadoff double, you keep him in, and it ended up being a mistake.
And not that he had much time to make the decision after the double. The next pitch, Chu just blasted into the seats and left. So a 3-3 game, and the 2-strike pitch to Mazara. That's off the plate.
Colomé, a pretty good strikeout pitcher, not one of the dominant ones that we necessarily see at the back end of bullpens. That strikeout rate 8 per 9, right around average. But just a 236 batting average against. He's actually been a little bit better against lefties, 221 against righties, 250.
Mazara swings and misses at strike 3. Colomé has quickly quieted things in this 9th inning. Back-to-back putouts, and he will face Adrian Beltre.
Number 29, Adrian
Beltre 0 for 3 so far tonight. But he has made good contact with the baseball. He's lined out to second. He hit another one very sharply toward second that turned into a double play. Also grounded out to short. And he shoots this one down the right field line, slicing away, foul, and oh, poor fan. Strike 1 on Beltre. This one again toward that same area, but a little deeper foul, and it's 0-2. So Adrian sitting on 2,985 hits, 15 short of the magic numbers. He chases down Roberto Clemente. Colomé a strike away though from sending this to the bottom of the 9th inning in a tie. Here's his 2-strike offering. Beltre is prepared for it, 1-2.
The ball went down and Adrian Beltre went up. A little hop at the plate, always keeping things interesting, keeping it loose.
Now the 1-2 pitch.
Man,
there it is again.
Is Wilson Ramos liking that?
Not a lot. Those are scuds.
He knows what's coming, and as soon as he sees it out of Colomé's hand, he's thinking, man, I'm just getting out of here. There's nobody on base. They're trying to block that thing.
They got ahead 0-2. Despite the last two. The pitch to Beltre, and he shoots this one out to right field. That's a base hit. Beltre's on with a 9th inning single and a very important runner for the Rangers. That one also breaks the tie with Sam Rice. So now 31st all by himself.
Well, there's a little cutter, and it's the kind of gets caught between the cutter and slider. Is that pitch that Colomé throws, and that one didn't do very much. Not a lot of movement to it. It stayed horizontal, and great Adrian Beltre does a nice job of aligning that ball to right field.
2,986 hits now for Beltre. And the pitch to Napoli. In there for a strike. So 2 runs in this 9th inning of the Chu homer, and then with 2 outs, Beltre delivers the key base hit. It's been a quiet night at the plate for Napoli. Swings over the top of that one, 0-2.
Yeah, some frustration for Mike Napoli tonight. That one pitch that we saw that ran up and in. It's that first pitch there that was kind of borderline called a strike, and then chasing one out of the zone. You can get one over the plate. Be some frustration taken out of that baseball.
Big shift to the left side for Napoli. 3 infielders on that left side of the infield. Outfield very deep. Colomé's 0-2. Bouncer third base and just foul. Boy, barely. Colomé readies again. Beltre to the lead at first, and that one in the dirt. 1-2.
I'd like to see another one of those, and one that gets away from Wilson Ramos to get Adrian Beltre in scoring position. We've seen Colomé throw a bunch of pitches in the dirt in this inning.
Yeah, got ahead of Beltre 0-2, and then spiked the next 2. Jumped ahead here of Napoli 0-2. Puts that one in the dirt. This one maybe headed to a similar fate. Timeout asked for and granted. 24,461 the paid attendance tonight. Colomé's 1-2. This is the first home game of the second half for the Rays. They started the second half on the road out west and did a nice job. They came back with 4 wins and 2 losses in their 6-game trip. It took them through Anaheim and Oakland, taking 2 out of 3 at both places. Had yesterday off after the long travel day. 2-2, and that just missed. It's a full count. So good at bat here for Napoli. Well, waiting, would love to get an opportunity in this 9th inning. Tied up this inning by Chu's home run to left. And 2, and it's high, ball 4. So Napoli walks. It puts Beltre out at second base, and indeed does get Odor to the plate.
That is just the second walk of this entire game. One by Yu Darvish. There were none by Alex Cobb in his 8 innings of work. But what a great at bat from Mike Napoli after falling behind in the count 0-2. Then he fouled off the 3rd pitch, and then it was 4 straight balls and a couple that were close. But great at bat by Mike Napoli. That gets Adrian Beltre now in scoring position and gives Rougned Odor
Huge opportunity here to drive in the go-ahead run.
Beltre with an ongoing conversation out there. Looks like with Jerry Lane, crew chief, second base umpire. Shift on the infield. Respecting Odor's strength on the ground too, as they're all very deep. And there is strike one. Odor with 17 home runs, 40 RBIs. But tonight, 0 for 3. Reached last time on a pop-up that was dropped right at first base.
Ooh. Oh. Wilson Ramos deciding to backhand that ball instead of get down and block it. It worked out nicely. Whenever you do that and you catch it cleanly, nobody says a word. You'd much rather see him drop to his knees right here. That is not easy to do. I mean, his eyes closed as he backhanded that ball. So a little tired, a little lazy there, but he's lucky that he caught that clean.
The 1-1 to Odor. That was in there for a strike.
There's that cutter, and he used it back door. It's good velocity, 89 miles an hour, some late movement.
Now these fans have been into it in this ninth inning. Rangers threatening for that go-ahead run in the ninth. Beltre second, Napoli at first. The 1-2 pitch. And a bouncer right side. Edge of Aria. The shortstop up with the ball. Throws to first. And he gets Odor to end the inning. But the Rangers have tied it in the ninth.
And it's all about Chu. Gets a pitch up, off-speed pitch, drives it the other way. Number 14 on the season, and a huge one. As he gets the Rangers tied in this game 3-3.
Petersburg. Adrian Beltre with a base hit at the top of the inning. The Adrian Beltre hit counter brought to you by Jack in the Box. 2,986 hits. And that puts him in front of Sam Rice. And now, all by himself, 31st on the all-time hit list. And as you pointed out the other day, CJ, with better than 19,000 men who have played Major League Baseball to be in the top 31. Pretty good.
Absolutely incredible, and the march continues for Adrian Beltre as he gets closer and closer to history. So important in this Rangers lineup. Let's take a look now at Alex Claudio, who was on. Darvish is done. Nice night for him. 8 innings, 5 runs, 3 hits, 12 strikeouts, and just a 1 walk. Here is Alex Claudio, who has been so important to this Texas Rangers bullpen. You see the numbers there for him. Game number 44. He's not pitched in 4 days. He didn't throw it all in that Baltimore series, but he threw in each of the 3 games in Kansas City, 1 inning each time. He threw 7, 8, and 8 pitches respectively in those outings. It was pretty incredible. He's going to have to shut down the Rays here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, Ramos leading it off. Ramos, Miller, and Beckham. 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Well, what a great opening game in this series. We knew it was going to be a big series for the Rangers. No question about it. It's very important for these Rays as well. Currently leading the wild card division, but feeling like they need to keep pace with the Boston Red Sox in the American League East. They still have a real good shot to win a division this summer. Part of the excitement and optimism here has to do with guys like Wilson Ramos, who've come back healthy and they feel like they can contribute in a big way. Bouncer third base. Candy hop for Adrian Beltre, and he takes care of Ramos, 1 away.
There's a good first out by Alex Claudio, and he does it just on 3 pitches, and that should not surprise you. Check him out this year. Pitches per inning as a reliever. Alex Claudio averaging 12.6 pitches per inning. That is a full pitch less than the next closest, who, by the way, is also here tonight, Erasmo Ramirez. He's been really, really good. Now all of a sudden Jonathan Lucroy wants to go out and talk to Alex Claudio about Brad Miller, who homered back in the 4th inning.
Now Miller with that solo shot on the 4th, just his 4th of the year. A couple of surprises today. That home run by Miller, and then Malik Smith with his 2nd of the season. That one came in the 8th inning and was the 3rd run of the game for the Rays. Miller takes strike 1. Claudio. It's another bouncer left side. Beltre right there for it. And another real good job by Gallo at first base to make the catch and keep the foot on the bag. He's saved Beltre a couple of times.
He's done a really nice job, Joey Gallo has, this season, as he's talking about. We see Adrian Beltre talking about the throw that he made, and Joey Gallo saying, well, if it sailed, then get on top of it. And he's saying, of course, jokingly, but what he did was he gave the motion to see Adrian Beltre throw that ball from the side. Good little 2-seamer sink, and that's why it ran up the line. And Joey Gallo joined the front and said, well, get on top of it then, dude. If you get on top, it'll stay straight. You're going to throw like the way Alex Claudio throws it. Yeah, it's going to move just like Alex Claudio's pitches move. And we showed that 12.6 pitches per inning, and Alex has only thrown 6 so far here. He's gotten 2 outs. Well, the record all time, Dan Quisenberry holds it. 12.5 pitches per inning. He did that back in 1989 with the St. Louis Cardinals. So Alex now tied for 2nd best. 12.6. That'd be fun to see him break that record.
He's off the plate here to Beckham to even the count at 1-1. So Boxberger back up again. We saw him warming earlier tonight for the Rays after Colomé had to come on in the 9th inning and put an end to the Rangers rally. A very quick Rangers rally, in which they scored 2 runs on some 3 pitches off Alex Cobb. That's 3 straight games, by the way, in which the Rangers have scored runs in the 9th inning. Got a run Wednesday night in a game that was mostly a blowout. Picked up a couple of runs yesterday to get back in it. I mean, they got to within 2 runs last night. Tonight they tie it in the 9th. And it's now 3-1 on Beckham. 2 outs, nobody on. Kind of an extended bat here for Beckham against Claudio. Claudio not used to going this deep in an at bat. His 3-1 pitch, and there's a foul out of play. It's a full count.
Well, he is in some territory in which he has not been in a long time. He'll get ready to throw his 11th pitch here. I mentioned the 3 that he had in Kansas City. The outing before that, which was before the All-Star break, he threw 4 pitches in a third of an inning, but it was on July 8th where he threw 2 innings and threw 26 pitches, but still an unbelievable rate of just 13 pitches per inning.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Beckham. Infield straight away, fairly deep, and he lifts this one in the air to short left field. Mazzara comes on, puts a squeeze on it, and we will have extras tonight. Off to the 10th inning we go. This game tied at 3. Three game as we now go to the top of the 10th inning. Download MLB.com at bat today. Get Rangers home screen icons as well as game day, highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Great ball game tonight. Yu Darvish was excellent. 12 strikeouts through 8 innings. Rangers had to come back for a couple of runs in the 9th inning to tie it, and now third pitcher of the night for the Rays, Brad Boxberger, has come on to throw in this 10th inning.
See the numbers there, and it's only been a handful of games for Boxberger, who has missed some time, so this will be game number 7 for him. Pretty decent fastball, will sit around 93 miles an hour. The slider at 87, changeup at 81, but in his limited time so far this year, he's been very good. 12 strikeouts per 9 innings.
We'll start with Jonathan Lucroy, then get Carlos Gomez and Joey Gallo, bottom third of the order in this 10th inning. A run in the first, 2 in the 9th for the Rangers. And that's tight. 2-0. Meanwhile, the Rays with solo home runs in the 4th, 6th, and 8th innings tonight. If talking to folks here in Tampa Bay about, and we had Ken Rosenthal on earlier tonight as we get down to the last handful of days toward the trade deadline in July, and a lot of talk about what the Rays might do. They feel their needs primarily to be an extra arm of the bullpen. They don't have the depth that they would like in the pen. Boxberger walks the first man he faces in this 10th inning. Lucroy draws the walk, but he will quickly leave the ball game as the Rangers will employ some speed here and bring Delano DeShields on to pinch run.
No, you're right. Definitely something that they could add, get a little bit better in that bullpen. Now, Boxberger just came off the 60-day DL at the end of June. He has been a guy to latch string, but he has been a guy that has been very good for them in the past. Back in 2015, he led the American League with 41 saves. He's had a very good strikeout rate. 2014, he struck out 14.5 per nine. That year in which he was racking up the saves and he was an all-star. He was nearly 11 strikeouts per nine. He's had the stuff, but now he's coming off an injury, and so a little bit of a different feel. Last year was not a great year for him before he got hurt. I remember talking to Joe Madden when he was the manager here about Brad Boxberger, and he said, this guy's got ice in his veins. So I feel like I can put him in any spot, any situation. So I think he used the phrase, he said he was an assassin, bullpen assassin.
Pretty intense.
He liked him. Listen, you want your manager saying things like that, that is for sure. That means you know that he trusts you any spot, any time of the game.
Gomez trying to bunt, but fouls that one off.
Great idea. Love that. Tie game, extra innings. You got a great runner in Delano to Shields. A good runner in Carlos Gomez as well. Put some pressure on the defense, even get somebody to make a mistake. Worst case scenario, you have a very speedy runner at second base. And 2 opportunities to drive him in.
Goes for it again and drops this one down in front of the mound. Boxberger's only play is to first, so Gomez does the job. He gets to Shields to second base with 1 out.
Number 13, Joey Gallo.
Well, this one was a little bit firm and back to the pitcher, but again, because you have great speed, you don't even think about throwing that ball to second base. A lesser runner, and Boxberger might have thought about being aggressive and taking that out or trying to get that out. That's a smart play to go to first.
So Gomez advances to Shields to second base. And here's Joey Gallo. Gallo, you remember, started the 9th inning with a double off the wall. And then the next pitch, Chu hit it out of the ballpark. The double right here would be huge. Put the Rangers in front in a tie game, 10th inning. And it's 1-1. Close games, that's been the story this year for the Rangers. Trying to win them. Last year, that was the story of the year as well. All the numbers said that they were performing well beyond what should have been expected in 1-run games. Come from behind wins, things of that nature. This year, you could argue that a little bit of the same has happened in the other direction. Gallo lifts this one high in the air out to right field. Peterson waiting deep in right field makes the catch. The Shields with his good speed able to tag easily and make it to third, but there are 2 out in the inning. Brings up Shin-Soo Choo, and that's what he did his last time up.
Thanks to Chu, we are now playing baseball here in the 10th inning. A huge 2-run home run for him as he takes that first pitch split finger from Alex Cobb out to left field. Great timing for number 14 for Chu. You might not think much about that sacrifice fly there, or not, it wasn't a sac fly, but a fly out to right field there that allowed Delano to Shields to get to third base. As you see, Chu intentionally walked. And bring up now Elvis Andrews. So no shot at a 2-run home game. 2-home run game, excuse me. But ball in the dirt. All the difference in the world here right now. So an opportunity, a couple of different ways here for the Rangers to try to get this run across the board.
Well, they're on the corners now with 2 out for Andrews. Elvis homered in the first, reached on an infield hit in the 7th inning, so he's had a good day at the plate. Go back behind Chu at first base. Wow. Logan Morrison immediately looking into the dugout saying, hey, check that one. We might want to look.
Well, he looked like he was motioning as if he felt like Chu's hand might have came off the bag. Let's take a look here. He hops back. He's on it. But did he push him off?
Well, it looked like he kept the outside of his hand on the bag, barely.
There will be no review.
One and one, the count to Andrews. The Shields at third base. Two and one. You mentioned it. A lot of ways you can get that guy in from third base. And almost the last inning or two, I don't know that it's signs of fatigue, mental or physical, but there have been some interesting plays in the dirt, and you could certainly see one getting past him. This one fouled back. It's 2-2.
Yeah, I mean, now you cannot pick any ball in the dirt unless you have absolutely no other option if it's so far away. But anything that's down low, he has got to drop those knees, keep it in front of him.
The Shields at third base, of course, has to be attentive and be prepared for any one of them to get away, for his opportunity to maybe dart home. 3-3 here in the 10th. The 2-2 pitch. And that one ripped. Foul. Just a little in front of it. Andrews looks like he broke his bat. We'll get a new one.
Almost had 10 pass balls last year. That was tied for most in the National League. We'll keep picking on him, but we're trying to get this run across the board any way we can.
2-2. And a bouncer at third base. What a stop by Longoria. His throw to first, not in time, and the Rangers take the lead in the 10th. An amazing defensive play by Longoria to flag that ball back up third, but no chance to make the throw to get Andrews, and he picks up the RBI on the infield hit. Rangers lead it 4-3.
We just saw Elvis Andrews hit a ground ball foul down the line. Here comes a two-seam fastball. He keeps this one fair. But you're right, this was almost an unbelievable play. As you see Longoria go full extension and just tried to throw that ball as he was seated on the ground. The throw ended up getting spiked in the dirt, and Elvis Andrews gets the first very easily, but he may have saved the second run. Think about Chu running, that ball getting down the line. There's a chance that, especially if it got to the wall, that Chu probably would have scored as well.
And who knows, that may end up being really big in this thing. But the Rangers still with an opportunity to add to the lead. Chu at second, Andrews at first from Mazzara, and he's up in the count 2-0.
Nobody warming up right now in the Ranger bullpen, so we will see Alex Claudio most likely back out for his second inning of work.
There's a strike to make it 2-1. Andrews with a 3-hit night tonight, by the way. That'll work. 2 infield hits for him. A very big one there a moment ago, the 2-1. And we're all square. Rangers with 2 runs in the 9th inning, a run here in the 10th. And come back to take a lead in the 10th inning. And a chopper third base. Longoria looked to second, but his play will be to first. And they get Mazzara. The inning is over. But the Rangers retake the lead. It's been a big night tonight for Elvis Andrews. 3 hits, including an RBI single. Makes it 4-3 Rangers. 4-3. Rangers leading. That was easy. I just hit it over there and ran. All right, Alex Claudio stays in for the 10th inning after a scoreless ninth. Robinson Chirinos checks in the game to do the catching from this point forward.
You get a pinch hitter as well now as Steven Souza Jr. will step in against Alex Claudio. Real quick, going back to that 10th inning, we talked about brought up that fly ball by Joey Gallo. Without that, what was seemingly a harmless fly ball that moved Delano DeShields to third base. Otherwise, that run doesn't score. Working out really well. So very important at bat by Joey Gallo in that inning.
Souza shanks one off to the right side, out of play for a long strike. Souza's been missing time lately, a left hip strain. Cash said before the game today that he would be available off the bench. Here he is, pinch hitting in the 10th. They felt like today would be the last day that they would have to be conservative with Souza, that they could get him back in kind of a regular rotation going forward starting tomorrow. But a big part of what they do here, 271 average. Gets on at a nearly 370 clip with good power, 20 homers. And he's ahead, 2-1.
And those 20 are a career high, one of the many we've talked about tonight. There's 3 guys that have come to the plate that have set career highs in home runs. Souza, a guy that they always liked, started out his career with the Washington Nationals back in 2014 at the big league level, but he came over here in Tampa. Each year has gotten better for Steven Souza.
Two-1 from Claudio, and it's fouled away. Even the count at 2-2. Well, the first of 3 very important games this weekend in Tampa. Rangers scored in the first inning to take a 1-0 lead, but then the Rays came back with solo homers in the 4th, 6th, and 8th innings to lead it. It was a 2-run ninth to tie, a run in the 10th, and the Rangers are back in front. Full count. Souza hitting for Peterson. Danny Echeverria will be due next. The bouncer, third base, and that one through. It was to the left of Beltre, and he took a step or two that direction, but just couldn't get to it. Well, Souza is on a big leadoff single.
Good pitch here from Alex Claudio, a fastball that is down below the zone with good movement. When he throws that pitch and he gets contact, he gets himself a bunch of ground balls, and he's got a great ground ball rate. He's had one all year, but unfortunately here on the turf, that ground ball a little bit faster and gets through. 70% ground ball rate, by the way, for Alex Claudio, which also makes him an ideal pitcher to try to get a double play now to get himself out of this thing. He has induced 9 ground ball double plays this season.
Echeverria has sent 3 ground balls to Beltre at third. Now Beltre moves in. I'll play it tight here as Souza off first base, and Echeverria to bunt, drops it in front of the plate, and a throw down to second, back over to first in time, double play.
Wow, what a play by Robinson Chirinos to hop out. We were talking about the bunts here, and sometimes you're playing on turf, you worry about bunting it too hard. And the opposite side of that, of course, is that you're trying to deaden the ball too much, and here's a 2-seam fastball and not easy to bunt, and Echeverria kind of backing away as he was bunting that ball, and that's why he didn't have enough on it. And what a great play all the way around. Robinson Chirinos, great turn as well by Elvis Andrews. That wasn't an easy turn by any means. Nice job all the way around by the Rangers. But you see Echeverria's kind of backing out as he was bunting. When you're sacrifice bunting,
you're taught to get your face in there, not your face all the way in, but that's kind of what they tell you. Get in there, lean in there, watch that baseball hit your bat. He was backing away as he was trying to bunt, so he just deadened that ball way too much. And really nice job by the Rangers.
Right now, Trevor Plouffe batting for Smith, and he lines this one out to left field. Mazzara to his left, and he'll make the catch. Almost overran it, but this one is over, and Alex Claudio saves the 4-3 Rangers win. Doesn't save it. He gets the win.
It's all his, and he did an excellent job after the ground ball base hit, gets the out, and then a first pitch line out, and Alex Claudio does it again, and he does it again efficiently. It has been unbelievable to watch what he has done, and such a valuable member of that bullpen, but more importantly right now here for the Rangers, a really nice win, one that they have needed pretty badly.
How about the 10th inning tonight? A 3-3 game, and the Rangers offense got it going.
Well, they certainly